Alright, we are going to go ahead and continue this Brazil game. This will likely be the last one. We had very low turnout today, which I did expect. The Wednesday game didn't appear as popular as the other ones. So I think we're going to play Brazil for one more. Let's kind of see what we can get done today. It's very casual. There's only 6 of us. And then we are going to start probably a new Vicky 3 game next Wednesday. If people are up for it. So hopefully get a bigger game going. Which, I don't mind playing a smaller one, but it is nice when there's more people to RP in an RP game. So this was the Brazil game. Now that I know a lot more about Vicky 3, I loaded back into this game, and I was just looking at, like, my economy and asking myself, what the fuck was I doing? Like, I really am not too sure. This is back when I thought explosives were a good thing, and they're really not. In fact, they're actively detrimental to your country, arguably. So this is an interesting Brazil. We got a lot of work to do to fix it. I remember at the end of last session, I started a war of Peru-Bolivia to take the Lima sulfur mines for explosives, which, again, I didn't really need. Now, we are going to be exporting them, and they will be useful late game, but since we're not getting there, that's a bit of a problem. So, we'll see how this goes. I don't expect this to be a long game, probably 3 or 4 hours. And this is probably going to be all I stream today. I do have some other stuff I'm going to do tonight, so we'll see. But we're going to have fun with it, so. I do want to do a proper full Brazil game. I might continue this with single player, but likely not. So, we shall see. Waiting for the host to unpause here. So what we really need is we need to expand our governmental capacity so that we can integrate these states that we just conquered. We need to shore up our deficit in clothes and furniture, steel and coal, which is killing our economy. And then at that point, we'd have to work on our luxury clothing and furniture items in order to actually build an upper class. So, that is what we need to do. What's up, Cringe Lord? Yeah, how you doing, man? I was looking at this. Every time I load one of my saves I played like a week back from this game, again, I'm just blown away by how little I understood this game. I'm not saying I understand it great now, I don't, but I at least know not to do some of these just drastic mistakes I had made. What's up, Lollipop? Good to see you. Plus, we could really use some gold mines for our minting process. We're not making a lot of revenue, which is an issue. So, this is no, this isn't a disaster save, but this is definitely going to take some work to get back on track, to put it very lightly. We do have some work to do here. I don't understand a thing about this game. I was there with you for the first, like, 6 days I played it. And then finally I just put enough hours in, like, all of it started to click. Not all of it. Some of it started to click. How many hours am I at right now, actually? Let me take a look at that. I already have 122 hours in Victoria 3. So, after over 100 hours, I kind of understand it. Typical Paradox game. Wasn't bitter. And I won't ever understand it. It takes time, but you will. You just have to play it a bunch. Brazil's Past Glory, I presume, run? Yes. Yeah, this is just a hyper... This is like what we planned on doing with it was make it like a very reformist, like, monarchist Brazil. So it's like philosopher, emperor kind of situation. Gold Rush. I'm gonna turn that volume down a little bit more. I've been like editing some of my VODs recently to turn them into YouTube videos, and I like, Jesus Christ, my volume's been way too loud. So I wanna be careful with that. Almost ruined some of my fucking shit. It sucks because like I can't actively like hear what like everything sounds like when I stream. So yeah, just gotta hope for the best. I wish there were more hours in the day. There's so much I would do involving learning code and Unity as well as playing games. That's how it is, man. Unfortunately, humans are burdened with very short lives, and as such, we don't have a lot of time to develop the skills to do the things that we want to. It's kind of one of the many tragedies of the human condition, you know. I see no more 15-year-old ruler anymore. Ruler has a beard now, like the G Hamu. Yeah, he's got a little bit of a Chad beard. He's 30 now. He's liked. He's a reformer, intelligentsia. He's also a commander. He leads his men into battle, and he's an experienced defensive strategist. So he's just an absolute beast of an emperor. He was the one who also led the front in the battle against Peru, Bolivia. So all around a great guy. Just a great guy. We are running a massive deficit. But we have to fix the structural issues in our economy. Man. So many problems. I mean, we can deal with them. They're not out of hand, but they need to be dealt with. All right, we did get the price of clothing down a little bit there. We'll get it down a little bit more than ever textile mill. We'll solve the coal crisis, which in the 50s, even by the late 40s for most countries, most of your industry does rely on good coal, not good coal, a large quantity of coal at not expensive prices. So one of the most important things, the two most important things for your industry you should always keep an eye on is your coal and your iron. You can be very negative and it won't impact you. As with any good in Vic E3, it's your price you want to look at. The price is what will kill you. Because if you have a deficit of it and the price is still relatively low, you're not really in bad shape. It's if the price is expensive, that means goods that it's used to produce will be expensive and that will hurt your economy. So since coal is so important, basically everything we produce industrially, that price is killing us right now. So we're going to work on the coal mines. The deficit don't matter. Eternal debt is where it's at. True. I feel so dumb. I was looking at YouTube for this stream. Yeah, there's one later this week I'll have on YouTube. Two, actually, I think. I need to put stuff up for it. I still haven't gotten around to it. It's on my to-do list. My very long to-do list. Yep, iron 2. General de Alcantara Bellegarde has made public statements in support of the Conservative Party, bringing into question the political neutrality of the military. Let's keep the military neutral. Let's we're gonna force them to go into politics. How about that? We don't want to piss off the military by saying they can't be politicians, given how prominent they've been in helping us recently. However, we can't make it a normal thing for the military to be involved in Brazilian politics, because that happened later on in Brazilian history, and as I recall, it led to some problems. And it almost led to some problems again recently, because, well, I'm not even going to get into that. Anyways, who's ready to hear Mariah Carey on loop for the next 2 months? Fuck. It do be like that. Her songs are good the first 5 times you hear them, and then after that, they just contribute to a slow descent into madness. There we go. We're getting the coal price down again. What's a Vambi? I mean, it's a classic though. That's, of course, and I agree with you. I like Mariah Carey. The first couple times I hear her music, but when it's over, and over, and over, and over again, it does lose a little bit of its appeal. My God, we have a lot of work to do. I'm just looking at the saving, and it's just like, what was I doing last week? Not understanding the game, but I mean, beyond that. You work at Walmart? Yeah, then you know exactly what that's like. Fucking hell. Pure fucking pain. Alright, motor industries will solve our energy crisis for our railways. Coal should shore up our coal high prices. Furniture will bring up the standard of living and reduce furniture prices. The gold mines will boost our economy a little bit. The ports and railways will give us access to all our states so we can actually utilize our goods. And then at that point, we need to continue to probably work on the furniture crisis and maybe get food prices down a little bit more. Brazil's just basically in an economic crisis right now. Who's in our government? It's the bourgeoisie, the industrialists, and the intelligentsia. We can't get rid of the bourgeoisie because they're in the Liberal Party. We'll just keep it how it is, I guess. We're currently working on multiculturalism. That doesn't make any sense, so we're going to get rid of that. It's really strong, but it doesn't make much sense. We went free trade. I forgot about that. We are a reformer and part of the intelligentsia party. What is their like #1 priority right now? Let's take a look. Suffrage. They want universal suffrage. They also want total separation of church and state. Given the power of the church recently, we're going to go for total separation of church and state. It's very handy that you can just see like what parties want certain things. It makes role-playing a lot easier. What's up, Commander? Are you still going to do that mod for Port Ma? You have to send it to me again, Vambi. I'll probably do it in like a week or two. I'm going to get back to playing some Hawaii in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to play the Port Mod playthrough, and then I'm planning on doing a single-player semi-roleplay Iran William Dawn playthrough as well, because I'm going to turn that into a YouTube series. So I'm going to do that, probably start that next week or the week after. And then I do need to continue on the grand campaign I started as well. I got a lot of stuff to do. I've just been catching up on some YouTube videos that, like, I never finished. Like, I've finished the Slaughter series. I'm almost done finishing the CK3 series. I've caught up on a lot of the other stuff that I have a habit of starting YouTube video series and just not completing them. And I really need to stop doing that. It's an issue. Okay. Hardwood we need to deal. We need a number 17. We can deal with that right now, actually. A little surplus of that. Ceramics, 30. We might be able to do that too. Let's look. No, we don't have any glass factories, do we? Wow. The Old World's Blue Mod, yes. Interesting. Okay. Steel we are working on. Glass, we will need to really develop a glass industry. I didn't realize this until recently. Glass is actually one of the things your population just needs. Like, generally. Your general populace needs glass. When you upgrade your construction needs glass too. And glass is used in a lot of products late game. Glass is one of the most important industries to develop in the mid to early game, to be honest. From what I've seen. Alright, Bitter. Enjoy lurking. Coal prices have dropped. We're mostly good on that. Alright, we have a new election. The Liberal Party has won with a large percentage of the vote, which is the intelligentsia. So they're going to stay in power, which is lovely. Pious fiction, old ways, avant-garde, engines of progress, and job creators. The armed forces and the landowners want us to take away, like, the rights of women to own property. The church wants us to enact racial segregation. Oof. We have really high education access. That's why we're paying so much. That's why we're in such a big deficit. It's because we're paying so much for our education. Which is good. You need to. You need to educate your populace in this game, but it's brutal. Okay. That debt's getting pretty high, too. Port Mod, the guys next to watching Brotherhood, not sure they have a focus tree. They don't. And surviving against the watching Brotherhood will be difficult. Doable, but not easy. So, that'll be an interesting game. They're essentially like steampunk, post-apocalyptic pirates, though, so they do have a pretty cool thing going for them. Furniture is still ridiculously high. We're going to build 4 of them, which is going to be probably... It will get the price down a fair bit. Those price corrections. It looks like, what are those things called? The, like the lie detector test? That's what it looks like. You basically can make a criminal empire and start taking over minor areas. Just don't piss off the super mutants. Super mutants will fuck you up, man. Three motor industries. We could get that done pretty soon. 5 universities. We can get that done pretty soon. Suffrage. We'll do suffrage after we get total separation of church and state in Brazil. And we can't really do the rest of these either. Oh boy. Prices are going down across the board. Our economy is not growing very quickly, though. Again, it's hard for people to move up to higher positions that we will need for a lot of our industry if they, again, can't afford furniture. It's a bit of an issue. There we go. Prices are dropping a little bit. What do we have furniture on right now? Yeah, we got lathes. We have the coal for water boilers, and given we actually will struggle population-wise, I think it's best to probably keep those. Why are these not profitable? Tools, fabric, and coal are too expensive. They're way too expensive. But tools aren't that expensive. Huh. Now, why is that? Because it's expensive in that one area. What I don't understand yet in this game, and I really want to understand the details of, and I hope someone makes a guide about it. I've looked around, none of the tutorials talk about anything in depth, is I was talking to someone else who's been playing the game a lot about things, and in my opinion, it seems like Vicky 2, if you construct the basic resources in a single province, like for example in Marenio, if we were producing all these goods in Marenio, it is more efficient because it makes the end product more profitable. And he told me that wasn't true. But I think what it is it doesn't make production more efficient. It's just, I think there is either a cost associated or an issue of moving goods from one state to another. So for example, if tools are produced primarily or entirely in Rio, for example, and we're producing furniture in Marenio, logically one would assume it does cost money to then move those tools from Rio all the way up to Marenio, especially given we actually don't have a lot of railways, so I'd have to go by ship or overland through, you know, Brazil. But what I haven't found is any, like, explicit details on how that happens. I've looked around for it. I've been looking on the Reddit. I've looked at the YouTuber guides, and none of them cover this kind of shit, so... And I don't really want to go into the, like, the code of the game, because I don't know what I'm doing. Well, let's test this theory. Tools are exorbitantly expensive in Marenio. Let's go ahead and build a tool factory. You know why? It's because of market access. Oh, okay, if we fix market access, that should solve it. Because basically, tools are being shipped from other states along the coastline to Marenio to be utilized in the city, which is the port. So if we don't have market access, aka the ports to offload all those goods to produce the goods that we need here, we have a problem. So... theoretically, that should work. But then again, it says it's really profitable to do all this kind of stuff. Yeah, it does. For example, if we build tools in Sao Paulo, it reduces the price of tools and increases the price of wood, coal, and steel. Why? Because all of those buildings require tools in order to produce them. It's more efficient to produce them in the same fucking place, which is logical. Alright, ignore me. I'm just still trying to understand parts of this game. I don't know if I can find the mod again because it was still on the game and I reinstalled it after the new DLC drop. Cool. We actually separated church and state. Wonderful. Now that that is done, we are going to do universal suffrage. I'm going to give people the right to vote. Like I said, we're going to do a reformist, democratic, philosopher, emperor, Brazil. So giving the people the right to vote is high on our agenda, given he is a reformer. Part of the intelligentsia, so it'd be one of his biggest issues, actually. Which is accurate. Brazilian monarchs tended to be really good. Revolution brewing. Armed forces. Hold on, I know what we can do. We can't afford this, but we're going to pay the military more to get them to calm the fuck down. We'll pay them a lot more to get them to calm the fuck down. And wow, they really didn't like the separation of church and state. We might get a revolution because of this. Let's try and bring the nope. Oh boy. We are gonna have a revolution. Oh boy. Apparently getting separating the church from government wasn't very popular with the church. They kind of like us though. Jesus, man. When we finish all of this stuff, we're gonna have to relax and try and pay off some of this debt. We're getting ourselves into a bit of a debt hole here. Save game loaded, okay with new patch? Yeah, it did, Lumber Mill. No issues so far. What was in that patch? I didn't look at the changelog actually. I assume it was just like bug fixes. Oh. They want. The revolution is because we gave women property rights. The church is losing its goddamn mind.
We have somebody hot joining. He'll be on pause in a minute.
Cool, sounds good. It slowed down a lot, but it's still going, I think. Is it stuck at 52? We would have more troops, so we would probably win this, but we can't afford a civil war right now. Old Red Blues with a huge array of planes and varying tech levels didn't draw much of the latest DLC. I wonder if they're gonna add a plane designer. I mean, they didn't add obviously a tank designer to Old Red Blues. They focus more on focus trees, to be fair, which is good. I mean, that's what makes it really fun. Alright, so this is in Morania. Let's see what happens. We don't need to pause for a hot join though. I don't get why that's happening. Because they did a desync if we don't, that's why. Fair. It is still slowly going up. That is, although this sucks, this is something that they actually need to make worse. Revolutions in regards to like very extreme political changes should be more common. Like us giving like women the right to own property in like 48, I think we did it. That would be extremely radical, and realistically, groups like the church would rise up and try and fight the government. I mean, that's completely realistic, unfortunately. Which goes back to that, you know, very, very important concept that history was a horrible, 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 horrible place. Like, we play these map games, and they're fun because of the politics and the economics of it all, and the war, I guess, but like, these games tend to make you, like, just gloss over how fucking brutal these time periods were. Like, it was shitty, man. They did make slavery more radical in the latest patch. Yep. They should do that for most of these ideologies. Like, most of these laws. Like any rights of women stuff, that's radical. Welfare would be radical. Slavery laws would be radical. Serfdom would be extremely radical if you get rid of that. Certain types of taxation would be very radical and get you a revolt, like the Whiskey Rebellion and shit like that. Cultural citizenship laws would be radical. Distribution of power for a lot of countries would be radical. Most of these laws should make you have to deal with revolutions if you rush them too early. And currently in the game, that doesn't really happen as much. I know that they've said they're planning on working on it, which is good. They need to. But it just requires them, like, being more realistic about the time period. Like, most people are going to want to put through reforms to make your country not a horrible place, but, like, it's got to be done realistically. I mean, that is, like, the appeal of the political system in this game to me, is that it attempts to make these sorts of things more realistic, which is good, but it needs to be harder. It does. Simple as. Alright. We are going to go for modern sewage. Cool. We are getting access to all of our states. Is there... Hold on. Actually, I want to take a closer look at that. Impacts both how many sell orders and buy orders are generated due to the state's production consumption, also how much the market price affects the local goods. Interesting. They need to make it more nuanced than that, but that does make sense. So the reason, for example, why furniture wasn't profitable to make in Morania was because we had low market access and they had less access to all these different goods produced in other states. Makes sense. This is why railways are so important in this game. We're gonna need another railway in here, probably. Our interest is up to 13,000. We need to pay off more of that. It's a bit of a balancing act I've found with credit and with debt generally, because as you grow your economy, you have access to more credit, which will reduce your interest rates. So if your economy is growing quick enough, your interest rates and your debt will scale with it. So it essentially decreases the damage of debt, which is what things like inflation will do as well, of course, which isn't in this game. I really hope they add inflation at some point. That's one of the biggest things I've been asking Millennium Dawn to add, and that they never will, and I get why, but fuck. Inflation's such an important political and economic metric that causes a lot of issues. I mean, look at, like, the modern world, like, at the present day. I mean, think about how many, you know, standard of living, quality of life changes have resulted from the recent inflation that we've had in the world, like in the US and in Europe especially, but throughout the world. I know for myself, I'm not the richest of people. Inflation has impacted my bottom line and, like, things I can buy at the grocery store quite dramatically in the last couple of years. It is a very visible economic metric in your everyday life, you know, which is why, again, I do hope they add it to the game, because it is very interesting. Being more, I mean, like, EU4 had inflation to a degree. It wasn't modeled in a uniquely realistic manner. I mean, it kind of was. I mean, inflation's more complicated, and you don't need to make this, like, ridiculous. Like, you don't need to basically be, like, the Fed, right? But I think there's a way to add inflation in games like this in a both realistic and engaging manner that doesn't make you have to have a degree in macroeconomics, you know? I'm not smart enough to figure that out, but I'm sure there's a way. That's what they pay the developers for. Okay. Railways, ports. It's going to be in Goyas. In Pastaza. Where's Pastaza? Fuck if I know. Probably over here. Yeah, there it is. And then we have a port in Lima. Lima? Lima. Like 1, 2. And then get any more engine yards too. We got to get market access. Market access is hurting our economy so bad. Fuck that deficit. We got to raise taxes. We almost have a revolution too. It's not the time to be raising taxes, but we have to solve the structural issues in our economy right now. I will decrease a little bit our government wages, just so we're almost running a deficit. Universal suffrage. Wonderful. All right, we have access to voting rights for everyone, essentially, now. What other major things the intelligentsia want us to pass? No home affairs. They want us to get rid of... Do we have home affairs? We have a National Guard. They want us to get rid of it. Given how popular it is with the military and the bourgeoisie, who we do need to keep happy, we're going to keep that. No police. Right of assembly. Get rid of the monarchy. Oof, I don't know. They're getting pretty out there now. What do the bourgeoisie want? An ethno-state. Oh man. Not much to like there. We don't really have anything else we can do at this point, so we are going to not pass any more laws. Given we almost had a revolution for our political reforms, probably a good idea to lay off that for a while. You know, Emperor Pedro is definitely a very future-oriented person in terms of his vision for the Brazil, but he definitely, being a masterful diplomat and a meticulous political operator, understands that there's probably a point where you do too many radical reforms. So we're going to relax for a little bit. It did go down. It is slowly dropping. They can't decide if they want to overthrow the government right now. They're debating it. It's a hard question to answer. Industrialists are now powerful. Let's see if we can get them into our government. They do fit what we're doing with the country, broadly speaking. Yeah, we can. They're angry with us, though. They are angry because of the recent change from both voting to universal suffrage. It's about right. When they calm down, we'll invite them into our government and try and mend the fence with them. Ports, railways, then we should have a large degree of market access, which will dramatically improve our economy. We'll pay off a bit of our debt, and then we will work on actually working on the industries we need to. Ooh, Northern German Federation formed. Nothing too crazy beyond that. The USA player didn't show up today, unfortunately. The problem with weekday games like this is there's just absolutely massive player drop-off. Weekend games tend to be pretty solid with players showing up to most games, but people really drop on weekdays. Look at that stagnant economy. Actually, no, it's going up. You know what's really fucking it up, I bet? I bet it's the free trade. Let's raise some tariffs. What are we exporting a ridiculous amount? A lot of coffee exports, sugar exports, anything else? Mainly it's coffee and sugar, it looks like. To the US as well. We have free trade. For one of the big problems with free trade, like in terms of like actual impact on the game, is it gets rid of tariffs entirely. You don't have any tariffs anymore, which, although it makes people prioritize you for trade, especially the AI, and you can trade more, and it does reduce bureaucracy for trade, not getting tariffs really impacts governmental revenue. It actually tends to make up a good deal of money of your budget for most countries, so free trade is a complicated one. I reformed us to take that last session, or last week, before I really knew what it did, so what's it to see? School/work? Yeah, it's like that, man. Weekdays are busy for people. I get it. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, like, it's just the reality of running a weekday game. There is more drop-off. It makes it harder to run, like, longer-term campaigns, you know? We're getting a lot better. Are we making a railway for Para? We're not. Do we have any more ports we can build there? Yes. Cool. The free trade party. Well, we already have free trade. It's the industrialists. Well, let's see if they've gotten over their anger towards us. Eh. More or less. We'll put them into government. No, we can't. Trade unions want to join the Liberal Party. We have to pull in the trade unions and the industrialists. That's interesting. So the Liberal Party is now... Jesus Christ. The Liberal Party is the intelligentsia, the trade unions, and the bourgeoisie. Interesting. We're probably going to go for mercantilism. We really need to get some tariff revenue. That's hurting us quite a lot right now. Yeah, we really need to get out of free trade. I didn't realize how damaging it is to your economy until recently. So I'm going to go make another protein shake in a minute. I've already been streaming for 30 minutes. Goddamn. I think we've got a hot joint again. Let me take a look at the... Did they put out a... patch notes? Yes, they did. Slashing military wages reduces the trading rate. Ooh, that's important. Movements to preserve now have a larger effect on the chance of a law to stall, making it harder to pass laws opposed by powerful groups. Good, they needed to do that. Reduce the base effect of propagandist intelligence trait from 50 to 25. Yeah, that was overpowered. I didn't realize they did that. It gives you just ridiculous amounts of migration. Oh, it's still 50 for us. I think it's because this is like a save game from before. Supposedly this patch, I think you have to start a new game for it, but it reduces this from 50% migrant attraction to 25%. 50% migrant attraction is ridiculous. If you have open borders, a high quality of life, good institutions, and propagandists active, the whole fucking world's gonna move to your country as long as there's, like, jobs. And even if there's not jobs, if you have welfare, so. Native uprisings get a significant bonus to their combat capabilities, mainly in regard to defense. Interesting. AI is now a bit more likely to get involved in diplomatic plays. That's not a good fix. The issue with the AI in regards to diplomatic plays right now isn't that they do or don't get involved. It's that they get involved for stupid reasons that don't make any sense. That's what they need to fix. Though I understand that's not an easy thing to solve. Good, they fixed the bug with generals getting stuck on standby, supposedly. We'll see. Whoa, political movements can now start organizing a revolution at 50 radicalism rather than 100. Good. There's not enough revolutions at the start of the game. Yeah, just a lot of general bug fixes and some little tweaks. That's good. They need a lot. There's a lot more stuff they need to work on, but that's a good start. Alright. fucking beard. That's beard goals right there. Goddamn. In your opinion, who has the least played major nations in RP sessions? Like, who has not been played a lot? Austria. Austria and Spain haven't been very popular from what I've seen. Britain, France, Russia, and USA always get taken. It's always a struggle to find... Well, it's not a struggle. It's hard to find Austrian and Spanish players. Ottomans are... There's always people willing to play them, too. Which I get. They're a little bit more complicated. Spain is a bit of a harder starting circumstance. You can get them very, very powerful if you know what you're doing, but... Considering they're technically one of the bigger powers... You're in a tough situation in Europe. Alright, how's market access looking? A lot better. Lot better. We are going to need to do probably that. And also steel. And motor industries. And then we can work on everything else. Yeah. Beyond that, I mean, technically, like, the East India Company / India, they're really strong. I did a single player game of them last night because I got bored. I got my shit done really late, like 1 or 2 a.m. I started it. I doubled my economy well within a decade. Like, they... much like real India, they're a sleeping giant. I mean, if you get your shit together as India and you play them well, they're strong. I consider them to actually be one of the major powers of the game if you get a competent player on them. I think in any game that you get a competent player on the British Raj, unless they just get, like, changed to make them weaker, which arguably they should for a lot of reasons, they are actually one of the most powerful countries in the game. Qing kind of, but they have so many structural issues and like revolt conditions that it's a little harder for them to get in good shape. The Qing are a nation I definitely want to take on pretty soon. I'd like to just see if I can actually get them into a good position. I'm probably going to stream more again next week. I've been just absolutely crunching out all the YouTube videos for like basically the next month. I want to get all the stuff done so I can like focus on streaming a little bit. Oh, we'll get this as soon as all these groups get, like, not revolutionary. May take a little while. That's a tough challenge, China especially in this era. It really is, especially given that the British AI is coded to just fucking invade you to open your markets, which, my god, that fucks you. And then to take treaty ports, of course. You just basically have to back down a bunch, which... It's not a... It's rough. Like, it's rough. We have the tools for that. We have mechanical workshops now. We don't have enough tools, and we don't have enough wood. But we need access. Do we still need more furniture? No, we're actually in a very good place. Textiles we need more of, though, so we'll do sewing machines. Actually, no, apparently we don't need that either. Why are all these goods so cheap right now? There should be more demand for them. Interesting. Let's defund the military a bit more. There we go. I really do advise defunding the military if you're not at war. Now, it is more complicated than it first appeared. What I didn't realize is two things. One, You can, like, if I get in a war right now, let's say we just get declared on by Colombia right now, and I switch to line infantry, it does take time to train all your soldiers back up to that level. So you do run the risk of having some trouble in major wars if you do this, but if you don't intend to go into any big war soon and you don't think the AI or players will fight you, it is really worth like defunding it for a little while. All right, we're gonna get Fearless Visionary. We're gonna get Pedro even more popular. What's his popularity at now? Literally 100. He is loved by the people, which is accurate. Pedro II was an incredibly loved ruler of Brazil. Fuck. Oh man, we're gonna really struggle with mercantilism. They fixed that bug. When the game first launched, if you canceled an enacting item and it had a higher base chance, it would just reset it. It doesn't do that anymore. Good. Tax avoidance. Hold on. What's this about tax avoidance? Oh, we lost tax avoidance. No, we haven't. Fuck. Approval industriance is unhappy. Manufacturing tax income minus 20%. We don't have massive amounts of manufacturing, but like that does hurt. They're still really butthurt about us fucking putting in place universal voting. That's hilarious and accurate. Ports, railways, steel mills, motor industry. Why are they in turmoil? Whoa. Brazil does actually have some absolutely fantastic, like, these modifiers. I don't know, state modifiers, yeah. Like, certain countries really don't have good ones. Brazil really does. They have so many natural resources that make them strong. If you know what you're doing. But then again, the Amazon does really make you struggle for infrastructure, which is absolutely vital. We need a glass industry. Statue of Emperor Pedro de Braganza was commissioned, and it has been suggested it be displayed proudly in Pernambuco. Yeah, we'll go for it. Considering everything he's done, he deserves a statue. Steel. Need more coal again, too. More transportation. How much do we have right now? 172 surplus. All right, hold on. Let's go ahead and we actually have almost everything else attached to rail transports. We'll do a few more. We'll get cotton onto rails as well and dyes. Cool. The growth of branch lines has, along the main rail routes, has been immensely valuable in the growth of our burgeoning rail industry. We're gonna take steel railway cars because those are very valuable later. That'd probably help with the infrastructure problem too, didn't it? Yeah, we've mostly solved that issue. That rail line in Rio will fix that, and then it's really just minus Garrus. How many factories do we have here? Do we need to prioritize this? Yeah, we got a lot of iron mines and gold mines there, so we will build one more railway there. And we will max out the port in Pernambuco. And then we will have universal access to all of our markets, at least for now. For now. It'll change very quickly, I'm sure. Somehow throughout this, like, this infrastructure crisis, we have managed to keep our economy growing. Very slowly, admittedly, but it is growing. Okay, let's get rid of all these. Gold fields depleted and minus Garrus. That sucks. We still have the gold mines, which we can actually expand too. Given that we do need some more money, minting-wise, this would actually be really worth doing. We'll max that out too. Gold in this game is really good, which makes sense because prior to like the modern time period, all currencies were more or less built upon a gold reserve, meaning like a copper coin or a banknote, which did come along later. They were backed by like a federal gold reserve, meaning that like money actually had value. Like up until I believe it was the 50s or the 60s in the US, like you could take a $10 bill to the government and ask for its equivalent in gold, and they would give it to you. Again, the idea being that money had to be backed on something real, and gold was a great way to do that, which is why in this game, it literally just turned into money through minting. In our modern world, that's not the case anymore, which, oh boy, that's a big problem that we are just ignoring right now. The amount of, like, the world economy that's built upon credit and loans and things like that is absolutely mind-blowing. And it's going to cause problems. I mean, it already has. Things like, the 2008 crisis, a lot of that was built upon the fact that money isn't really based on anything anymore. And I'm not the type of person who's like, we should bring back the gold standard. That's not viable anymore. But the way we do things right now is pretty crazy. Or, for example, like in China right now, like, is it called Evergreen? Like the big real estate giant in China right now that basically is collapsing. I think it's Evergreen. Is it Evergreen? Or is that just that fucking ship? Evergreen, China. The name's of that company that's crashing. Evergrande, that's the one. Evergrande is a real estate company in China that basically has managed to sustain the ridiculous amount of building projects China has done, most of which are not ever going to be used, in order to artificially boost their economy by basically using the loans to build buildings and then the asset that hasn't even been created to then take out more loans to then make more buildings which haven't been made, basically leading to a company that is valued at trillions of dollars that really doesn't have even remotely any part of that value. Though, to be fair, that's similar for a lot of companies. I mean, for example, like just the amount of inflated value that many companies have in our world is ridiculous. For example, Tesla, right? I like Tesla. I don't like Elon Musk. I like Tesla, like electric cars are cool. But anyone who suggests that Tesla should be valued at what it is right now, let alone like, what was it? When did it really get really high? Like a year ago? That shit's madness. It's just not worth that much. I'm not the most like conservative economic believer. I do actually share many of economic values of a lot of conservatives, to be honest, but it's very dangerous to build systems upon nothing. If you build a house and the foundation is fucking quicksand, and even if it's the summer and that shit remains solid, there will be a time when that shit is no longer going to hold things up anymore. Meta and Alphabet. Exactly, yeah. The fact that Facebook was evaluated, wasn't it over $1 trillion company or something like that? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, I suppose you get very existential and into some very complicated ideas about, like, do ideas innately have value? And if so, how do we deal with that? I mean, the way we deal with it now is that a good idea will result in a ridiculously high, you know, market value for a stock or for a company or something like that. But you know, it's dangerous to build systems on nothing, especially considering how much of the company is subsidized by government grants. That too, that's something a lot of people don't talk about. Is that a lot of companies, especially in the West, places like America, a lot of corporations, they're only profitable because of subsidies from the government. Let's put it in like a Vicky 3 example. For example, let's look at a very unprofitable building we have right now. Let's find something very unprofitable. Okay, this furniture manufacturing in Morania, right? It's barely making a profit. It's not very valuable. So if we had the laws for it, what we could do right now is subsidize it from the government, because hey, we need furniture, right? It's natural. We need furniture for our people. We want our economy to grow. So let's use governmental funds to subsidize this factory and make that company more valuable. It gives jobs. It gives people products that they want. It's a good idea. But if we're doing that to a bunch of absolutely massive companies, and let's say they're not making things we really need like furniture, let's say they're making a social media website, or you know, electric cars, when there are viable alternatives that aren't subsidized, you get into some issues. I guess the ability to control political discourse is very valuable, good for some governments. That is very true. And that, if we're being honest, is one of the main services that Meta/Facebook provide in the modern world, is they do exert a ridiculous amount of political power. And people don't understand that, I don't think. It's less so nowadays in places like the US. They still do have a lot of influence here. But Facebook especially is very influential in a lot of African countries, South American countries, and other places like that. Like, Facebook is a platform that is actually really utilized in a lot of other places around the world, especially where it is much more easy to influence elections. Facebook and Meta have been attached to some pretty radical political ads in a lot of countries that have affected a lot of election outcomes. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that 2016 was also an election in the US that was heavily influenced by certain ads generated on sites like that. So you are right. I mean, they are valuable in that context. I want to look at influence. You're playing in the right country. You mean influence in the game, or do you mean for Meta? So I just realized I haven't been using my influence. I'm getting a little too crossed over. I'm ranting right now. Alrighty. Let's use some of right influence here. But yeah, after the Cambridge Analytics debate, I think most people paying attention understood the influence Meta can have. Yes, that's true, Brian, but most people didn't pay attention to that. The same with, you know, like the Panama Papers and shit like that. There is information out there about so many structural issues in the world and things that affect your everyday life, but most people don't care. And I think it is understandable to say you should listen, and that's valid. But I don't know, man. I know a lot of people who work 60-hour weeks. They come home, all they want to do is just zone the fuck out, and it's a little hard to say, hey, you should go read a 50-page document on why the government hides its fucking, or rich people hide their you know, assets in foreign countries. Unless important information is spoon-fed to most people through really easily understand resources like, you know, YouTube commentators, late-night talk show hosts, or news companies, most people won't digest it. And to a degree, I think that's understandable given how much of our lives are really spent doing pretty mind-destroying work, you know, sadly. I enjoy the rants as much as the gameplay. Yeah, I started on one. God damn it. I'm in social media influence IRL. The Brazilian Supreme Court has to literally threaten to fine and jail Twitter, and Facebook exists to censor their opponents. Yeah, it's wild. I mean, they have so much influence, too. I don't know, man. See, this is where I get so, like, even I struggle to understand my own politics at times. Because, like, I don't know, many people label me, like, left-wing or socialist. That's really not true. I do have a lot of conservative viewpoints, especially economically. Like, I am for things like welfare and a social safety net, and for ensuring, you know, that people have a base quality of life. I am very for that, and I will stand by that at all points. But I'm also pro-capitalist, I am pro-free market, and I am, if I'm being honest, I'm pretty conservative when it comes to a lot of, like, economic policies regarding spending and stuff like that. So, I don't know. One half of my brain says things like this should perhaps be run by either cooperatives or the government. But then that doesn't tend to be very efficient either. So, fuck, man. We've gotten too big and we don't know how to fucking control our systems. It's a problem. I'm a common Nazi. I'm either depending on who I'm talking to. Wow, that's are you just attempting to reinforce what is it called? Fucking horseshoe theory? Is that what that is? Politics is too complex to be simply binary, but complexities are hard to discuss. They are. And that's what always depresses me when I have political conversations with people, is that many people always see things in a very polar light when it comes to political topics. You're for something, you're against something. You're for this party or you're for another party. And like in America, that's really bad because a lot of people either ascribe to the Democratic ideology or the Republican ideology. When, man, that's a whole... Okay, I gotta be careful. I'm gonna start ranting about everything tonight. Those are umbrella groups that cover so many individual policies that it is so dangerous, because when you boil political opinions and policies and economic and political decision making down into just groups, not only do you do a disservice to properly ensuring that your government is represented by people who understand those topics, but many people then don't feel the need to properly understand what they're voting for and what they support. Like, I can't count the number of times I've talked to both people on the left and the right, Democrats and Republicans, who I will question about the individual policies that they support because they're a lifelong Republican or they're a lifelong Democrat. But as soon as you break down the policies that they support, you'll find very quickly that there's a lot within that party that they dramatically disagree with. And then, the light goes on in their head for a minute, and then 2 minutes later, they're right back to it. Well, I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican, and it's like, all right, shit. Can't do much about that. Thank you for the follow, Brian. Oh man, I'm for my own eyelid ideology, which is I don't care, which also means I don't give a heck. I get that. When I was younger, I was very politically active. I'm not as much anymore for a lot of reasons. When I was younger, I would get pretty upset by people who said they weren't political, because politics innately defines your entire experience as a human being. It's just a reality. A lot of people will say, well, I just go off and do my own thing, and politics and economics, it doesn't affect me. That's not true. Your entire existence and your human experience is defined by political policy in governments. We're just at that stage. Unless you go live like fucking Kaczynski in the woods, which even then you will be affected to a degree, you are defined by that. And I used to be very upset with people who weren't political. And then I got older. And then life hit. And now I get it. Like, it's hard just to, like, manage to eke out a mildly fulfilling existence without dealing with the emotional, mental hardships of trying to support change that likely will be slow, if happening at all, for anything. It's a shitty thing, man. When I say I support high taxes on wealth, social security, and socialized healthcare, I'm a commie. What? Yeah, well, the thing is, those aren't innately communist policies. A lot of people don't understand communism as well, or socialism, or really any ideology. Ideology is not very understood. At least in America. I know Europeans tend to understand it a little bit better, so do other countries, but even there I find that ideology is not really properly understood by people. And I'm not some, fucking super expert or anything, but I have attempted to try and understand it better for my own political decision making. It's easiest to start any discussion with "you are wrong" and "we can't agree" and end it there. It does save you a lot of mental heartache, that's for sure. Man. I used to seek out political discussions. I don't anymore. It's normally not worth it. People are so ingrained in their beliefs. Which is a good and a bad thing, I suppose. The thing is, most governments involve some social systems. Like, socialism is the biggest of political spectrums. Yes. Everyone who thinks socialism always fails, they are wrong. There were a number of socialist governments that succeeded but were destroyed by any individual in the U.S. in many cases. Yeah. The thing is also, like, many policies that we don't attach to things like socialism are utilized by many governments that even claim to be conservative, Like, Social Security and welfare, for all the fucking, talk against it. Republicans never really try and cut it that hard because a lot of their voter base rely upon it and things like that. And a lot of conservative ideology, it isn't cut by governments that claim to be very left-wing. So it's, I don't know. Dealing in absolutes is a dangerous thing. What's that fucking Star Wars quote? Only Sith deal in absolutes. My brother in Christ, down here in Brazil, politics and legislation are literally done freestyle. Viking, you've got a wild political system in Brazil. I've always had a real interest in Brazilian politics, just because I think you are one of the greatest sleeping giants of the world right now, alongside India. In that, if Brazil ever managed to get a very solid series of political leaders in their country to run their government and to raise the quality of life of your people, Brazil would be a major global industrial, economic, and political power. And I'd like them to be, because I like Brazil. I like your culture and shit. I wish you guys were more efficiently run than you are. I am happy Lula run this new election, but I don't love everything about Lula. He's got problems. He's not amazing, but I do like him more than I like Bolsonaro for a lot of reasons. So, yeah, y'all's politics are wild. I was having a debate with a Brazilian like a week back, and we were discussing basically like the Bolsa Familia program, and he was arguing that basically Bolsonaro's Bolsa Familia program he put in place recently was better than Lula's because it paid more money. And we ended up spending like, oh man, like 30 minutes in VC debating like inflation versus like price changes in basic goods to like determine whether Lula or Bolsonaro gave more like basically spending power for their program and stuff like that. But what I found so funny was how difficult it was to find not only legislation, but your economic data for Brazil. Even he was struggling with it, and he's Brazilian. Like, as an American, I know that a lot of our budget isn't real, but I can go online and I can find a really explicit breakdown of a lot of our budget. It's painful to look at because we waste so much money on stupid things, but the resources are out there. Whereas I found for Brazil, man, trying to find anything that your government does, it is difficult, dude. Like, goddamn. And yes, I am playing on Line News. It's not a big game, though. There's like, I think 6 or 7 of us. Oh, only 6 now. We started with many. We are now at few. I don't know if that's economically or linguistically correct, but regardless. All right, hold on. Let me check the game real quick. I've been ranting and ignoring our poor fucking country here. So let me just get some things lined up for us. It's true, as long as human nature involves greed, full socialism won't fully succeed. Full socialism, it has problems of its own, though. I always advocate for hybrid political systems. Like, people always, especially people who play map games, I get into this mindset myself, which is like, you know, that a government has to be a specific ideology. And I think most governments and parties will always claim to be a part of a certain ideology. But ones that are willing to implement policies from multiple ideologies that will just result in a better quality of life or economy to a degree. I'm not the type of person who's like, oh, the economy doesn't matter. It does. It's very important just with how like we've structured our world. But quality of life always comes first for me. But yeah, I don't know. Pretty sure Marx himself said communism could never be achieved because of that greed. It's this the human element. It's not even like communism itself. It's many optimal systems of structuring people politically, economically, in any way are not viable due to human nature. And that's why I think, like, that's a tough one to solve. That's why, if I'm being real, I've always, like, not hated the idea, for example, of AI systems running government. And I know the first thing that comes to mind is Terminator, and I get that. AI are fucking dangerous, man. But to be honest, I don't know. That's a complicated one. I'll admit I'm a bit of a futurist who has a little bit more hope in the future systems than probably should be given, but I do think that there is some merit to the idea that if we don't integrate non-human entities into how we structure things, we'll never do it very well. I don't know. I'll be straight with you. The people just voted out the best president we've had and reelected a guy with 3 convictions of corruption. This country has no salvation. Bolsonaro, from what I've seen, though, Viking, is dangerous due to, one, man, his social opinions. I don't know. I'm very left when it comes to social policies, and man, I don't like what he says about a lot of things. His response to COVID, I thought was horrible. His flirtation with authoritarianism in the military reminds me too much of Trump. I don't glorify Lula, though. I like Lula because, from what I've seen, he does tend to prioritize the human element over the economic one to a degree, but I will fully say, I mean, his corruption, his associations to a lot of corruption within Brazil is very bad, but I don't know. It's a tough one. You'll never get to see the sleeping giant wake up. The only one Brazil's ever going to become relevant is if the U.S. Congress decides to just outright bias and integrate us into the union. Oh, man. Don't get me started on that. I wrote a big paper in college about that. Another paper I should have tried to get published, I never did. Which, basically, I advocated... It required a lot of things that didn't exist. But I advocated for the usage of development and, like, foreign spending and industrial development... to basically expand the American Union to like other South American and Central American states. I'm a big believer in the concept that people by nature are an asset to a country as long as you know how to utilize them. Governments don't. We're inefficient and we don't do things well. But ultimately, if you run a government really well, if you run a country really well, every new person in your country is an asset because they add to the economy and they add to what you can do. I think we're doing a rehost. 1 second. Put a quick pause on my rants for a minute.
We're hosting.
Cool, sounds good.
Yep.
Most countries struggle with corruption in South America is just like that second nature. They also have a lot of oil. Oil is literally linked dramatically. There's a huge correlation between oil and corruption. Oil is an innately corrupting element. One of the only countries that has managed to actually discover and utilize oil without creating corruption and problems for the country is Norway. But that's because they put it into a public trust, and even that has issues. But any country that develops vast amounts of oil, especially if they're developing and already have problems with corruption culturally, run the risk of just making that to issue 10 times worse. And Brazil's a good example of that. I mean, oil was a very corrupting thing for Brazil, while it honestly could have really skyrocketed your country. Checks and balances is great feature of systems, but then we need those to observe the observers and then those who observe them. Yeah. Optimally, you need a circle, but good luck with that. I'm also quite center left. The guy speaks like a moron, but good lord, he has passed very needed reforms. If the guy knew how to keep his mouth shut, he'd been elected with 80% of the vote. He's just a fucking asshole, man. I appreciate how openly he is an actual asset. I know exactly what I'm voting for. I'm a hell of a lot more afraid of a demagogue who knows how to wear a mask. I will admit that about Lula. I like some of the policies he's done and the things he says, but I know he's the type of person who does put on a bit of a face. I don't know. A lot of people argued like that when Trump was running and stuff, and still remained like a backer of Trump. And they're like, well, you know, I don't agree with everything he says, but at least he speaks his mind. I don't agree with that concept. I do understand the desire to have politicians who, oh, don't even, Sodi, don't even. I understand the desire to have politicians who will actually like be honest and not lie and things like that. But if what they're saying is essentially things like, I would rape a woman, maybe it's not a good idea to support them. Maybe. I don't know. I don't care how good your policies are. If you're talking about extreme things like that, we got a problem. Politician GoPros is not a bad idea. We make cops wear them. I mean, like, it wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea to have politicians wear cameras. Honestly, it's not a bad idea. It'll never happen. It's not a bad idea, though. Yeah, true. That'd be very difficult. Humans are the most important resource the nation has, and those who do not acknowledge it lead to failures. Yeah, like for example, when people are against like migration, obviously just like huge waves of immigration that we can't deal with, that's an issue. But people who are explicitly against most forms of immigrants, it either comes from two things. One, a failure of your economic policy to be able to utilize them, or two, racism. It tends to be the latter, if we're being honest. But it's normally done under the guise of, you know, economic policy, which is, well, they're going to take our jobs, they'll impact our economy, they'll bring down the quality of life. That just means you aren't running a very good government. But really, that tends to be said when the real thing is, I don't want someone of a culture I don't like coming into the country. So, I had Chris Christie as a governor. Oh, you poor bastard. Telling it like it is just big to speak for it. He's an asshole, but I will prosper under his policies. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that concept myself, to be honest. I mean, I'm from Idaho originally. I haven't lived there very much, especially in my adult life, but I do keep a track of their politics a little bit, and Speaking your mind isn't always a good thing if you're advocating for fucking absolutely medieval shit. Like, my god, man. I'm hoping Trump gets the book thrown at him. So much stuff he's done, straight up criminal, and it's a wonder he hasn't yet. Trump is dangerous for the sole fact that he clearly did commit some level of treason, and that is going to entirely delegitimize this country. Probably permanently if we don't deal with him. Because Trump's incompetent, he's not very intelligent, he's cunning, I'll give him that. But, like, if we actually get a competent politician who does the things he does... Yeah. Honestly, I'm just scared Lula is going to undo every needed reform Bolsonaro passed, especially the budget cap law, meaning you can't pass a budget over your income. See, things like that I do agree with. I think there is a time for deficit spending. I do it in these games all the time, and I agree there is... things like Keynesian economics have a lot going for them. But what I find is a lot of liberal, left, and conservative governments too, even though they'll say everything otherwise, they'll implement very extreme degrees of that, where they're just they'll put in place budgets that just like are always in the red. Like we've done that in the U.S. for like the last 20 years. I mean, like Republicans and conservatives talk all day about economic moderation, which I agree with. Like if there was a conservative who actually advocated for economic moderation, not for the bad reasons. Like a conservative who advocated for, you know, not running a deficit, cutting important policies like the military, like the governmental bureaucracy that we have way too much of and things like that, I would probably vote for him, to be honest. Unless he was like, we need to stone the gays and women need to go back to the kitchen or something. But there are... It is important to have, like, your economic principles not lead to just extreme decisions. Like, America's debt situation right now is so fucking bad, dude. The interest we pay on it alone is just, like, God, we could fund so much with that. It wasn't that long ago we did have a budget surplus. I mean, during the Clinton administration, which is the last time we had a budget surplus, that was only 20 years ago. God damn, we're so in the red, too. And it's been for all the worst things. It's been for military spending, it's been for wars, and it's been for tax breaks. And all of those things do not improve the quality of life of a country. It's such a fucking waste. I'd expect him to actually face accountability for actual impeachment and barring from public office. He deserves much worse, but I'm trying to be real. Nothing will happen to him. I agree. I don't think the DOJ will go after him. The guy who's in charge of the DOJ right now is, oh man, it's mindless. Created 13 new ministries. Lula hasn't even set foot in Brazil yet, and he's already talking about blowing the law and blowing a $200 billion over our budget. Yeah, that I don't super agree with. Fiscal responsibility is a very important characteristic, and no party in the country has it yet. No, they don't. It's wild. Not the best ancient king. What's up, foolish? That voice crack. How's it going? Hammurabi was the goat. Changed my mind. I'm also hoping Texas government gets a clue because they are going hard on religious-based reforms. Jesus, yeah. It's terrifying for us in the LGBTQI community, and I'm only asexual / aromantic. I know others who are going to actually be affected by that madness. Yeah. That's... You know, there are many reasons I would theoretically vote for conservatives in some ways. There's certain conservative values I would vote for. But the problem is, every fucking conservative candidate is so, like, socially fucking right-wing, I just can't stomach it. Like, if you're talking about just, like, fucking bashing on gays and the trans community to learn fucking, like, red meat points with your base, Jesus Christ, man. Or like, the fucking, the sexist policies a lot of them advocate for in regards to abortion and things like that is just wild. And abortion's a complicated issue, and I'm not, like, the very left end of that, but... to suggest that women don't have the right to abortion in at least extreme situations. Anyway, I'm getting off track again, but yeah, I know what you mean, man. What's up, Fury? How you doing? I think you should take one for the team and Brazilian wax that beard. Why do you want to see me remove the beard, Tingle? I did that before and there was an absolute fucking revolt when I streamed. If you have good ideas in politics, you got good ideas. Unfortunately, we're not seeing them a lot from them. True. Also, if you want to be scared, he wants to introduce media control regulations, demilitarize the peace, and create a national guard. Oh no, I don't like that. Oh boy. These are all features of the two-party system. Both parties have large tents and many factions inside them, and that's the problem. Preaching to the choir, my man. Preaching to the choir. All right, we have a lot of coffee exports, so we're gonna really go more heavily into that. I'm just reading Prisoners at the High Castle as homework. Never read that. And the people wonder why there are already millions protesting in the streets 2 months before he's due to take office. Alright, we are running a pretty good surplus again. Man, that interest is offsetting it, though. The gold minting will help. Coffee exports will help. Oh, we really need to get out of free trade. Free trade is screwing us over so hard. It's happening, it's just very slow. Alright, I'm gonna be right back. I want to go make a protein shake really quickly. I didn't go to the gym for like a week, so I need to compensate. Anyway, be right back. Yeah, Bordeaux is pretty bad, huh? Listen, I needed sulfur mines, and Lima was the only place that had them. Okay. Well, I thought I did. I did that before I understood this game a lot. I thought I needed explosives, and I realized I didn't because they kill all your people. Unfortunately. On a lighter note, I'm getting my weekly takeout for lunch, getting Wendy's. Looking forward to it. You know, Wendy's, I worked at Wendy's. They are very good. They're one of the few fast food places I really enjoy. That being said, never eat their chili. I get takeout food once a week, sometimes more if my parents are busy. Special occasion, nice. Max is at 2. I'm ambivalent to Border Gore. I'm one of the few who don't mind Border Gore, but also doesn't seek it out to annoy others. It is painful to look at. I'm just ignoring Peru. Dynamite is fine. It kills a lot of your people, man. If I'm able to buy Vicky 3 today, could I join and play if you're doing an MP? You could, but this game is only going to probably go on for another 2 hours, maybe 3. So, if you can make it, and this is the last session, we're starting a new one next Wednesday. We're going to get a hopefully bigger crowd for it, so we'll see. My aunt is on like a really big diet right now. She's lost so much weight, dude. It's impressive. I've been very impressed by it, man. Like, she was never a really like overweight woman, but you know, she could definitely lose some weight. And Jesus Christ, man, she's lost like 60 pounds in the last 4 months. She got in this like diet thing where essentially she does like glorified protein shakes. She pays this special program way too much money to do it. I keep telling her all she needs to do is just buy these ingredients and do it herself, but she doesn't. Point is, she makes like these basically like protein shakes as well, and she's like figured out how to make them really good. And she's been giving me advice on my protein shakes now that I've been going back to the gym a lot. And what she got me onto is, you know, like the what's it called? The pumpkin pie cans you get with like the pumpkin pie paste that you like, you know, you make pumpkin pie with. What she's got me to do now is I put a tablespoon of that shit into my protein shake, and my God, man, it tastes like you're like drinking pumpkin pie. It's so fucking good, dude. Low calories too. It's still very, very lean. God damn. I have become a basic white bitch. The pumpkin spice. God damn. Unfortunately. Okay. Economy is still growing. I would like this to be a lot quicker though. We really need ceramics. We have a glass work. Let's go ahead and make bone china. And we'll do that. Currently eating a fuck ton of sushi and sashimi. Ooh, very nice. Nitroglycerin in the later tier leads to mortalities. Really? I thought... Oh, dynamite. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Nitroglycerin is the one you absolutely do not want. Look at the mortality. The mortality of laborers is acceptable. The mortality of engineers and machinists is not. Those are skilled laborers. You fucking need them. There have been reports that Pedro de Alcantara Bellegarde, the leader of the Catholic Church, not attending meetings to fulfill his obligations. He has a psychological affliction. This dude has depression. Fucking hell. Alright, we're gonna try and treat his... God. Imagine sending someone to a fucking... a psychologist in 1859. Oh boy. That's how you get a lobotomy. Need to drop like 60 myself? That's fair. I lost a bunch of weight like a couple months back, and then I gained a little bit of it back. I'm still down quite a lot, but it's because I've been going back to the gym too. I'm not really looking to lose weight anymore. I just want to like get a lot of muscle again. Immigration? It's alright. We're not gaining a ton of people, I don't think. We have a very high quality of life, so... Our population is going up. We are getting immigrants. What are our laws for that? We have no migration control, so it's completely open for immigrants. Is there a way you can explicitly see, like, recent immigration? I've looked around for that, and I just can't find it. In Vicky 2, there was a really nice feature where you could see, like, the amount of immigration that's come into certain areas over a period of time. And I haven't found that feature in Vicky 3, unfortunately. I always skip it, but for Iron Mines, just, to help development. That's fair, Brian. Yeah. Ham wears Uggs. Oh, God. If I do that, I do need someone to shoot me, just saying. True Tingle. That's how you get tree panned. Your fisheries are doing bad. They're not making a lot of profit. The reason is there's not a lot of demand for fish, I imagine. Yeah. We need groceries is what we need. That'll kick off that demand. And raise the quality of life too. We'll do that. I want to pay off more of our debt. Once we get down to probably like 1.5 million credit, I'm going to build more construction yards as well, so we can get some more of that going on. The way I view construction is as long as I'm making a surplus, I can construct more. Because if you have the population to be moved from subsistence jobs to better ones, it's really just worth your time to maximize as much as you can. I even go into a deficit sometimes with construction if I have a lot of people. Because when you scale your economy, it decreases the, like I said earlier, the damage of your credit and your interest. I always want to dare you to do something incredibly stupid. What is it, Viking? Let's hear it. Clothes? Yeah, more of those are needed too. Tree bend means make a small hole in your skull and let out pressure. It doesn't really happen anymore. Some shit you'd see in a horror movie, man. Attack the US and take DC. This is still a casual roleplay game, so you can't do that for fun. The manufacture of steam engines has become a profitable industry in Rio, thanks to our sound investment in locomotive technology. These engines are already being employed across new Brazilian railway lines. We'll go for steel railway car progress. It's like a tongue twister, man. Goddamn. Mercantilism. Good. Look at that. Look at what we get when we actually had tariffs. My God. This is why you don't go free trade in this game early. Even later, probably. Good. And it made a lot of our interest groups happy, so wonderful. Jesus Christ, we need to get out of agrarianism. Let's go for interventionism next. We're making all of our important economic reforms right now. USA would probably just beat up Hamu if he tried. They probably would, yeah, because they just conscript like a ridiculous amount of people and just kill us. Along with the idea of medical bleeding to release bad humors, it was left behind in modernity. Yeah, like leeches bleeding. Have any of you seen House of the Dragon? I really liked man, now I get it. What was the name of the king? God damn it. I really like that dude. I should know his name. House of the Dragon King. Jacaerys? Their names are all so similar, man. Viserys. I really liked Viserys. I mean, he wasn't a strong man, but he was a good man. And every time they had scenes of him being fucking bled with leeches, I was just like, they're killing this poor fucking man, dude. They're killing him. Getting leeches is how you get blood diseases. Among other problems, yes. Laissez-faire. We'll do those. And then we need to work on textiles. Yeah, I'm doing dynamite right now. He literally looked worse in every scene. He really did. I mean, they were the maesters were killing him, man. Can start to do whatever. Still Team Green. After the fucking ending of House of the Dragon, you still support the fucking Green Zodi? Alright. I promised to have this conversation with you forever. Why the fuck do you support the Greens, man? How the fuck do you do that mental gymnastics? Crush communism in Brazil. We're not gonna go trade union. Like I said, we're gonna be like basically intelligentsia industrialist Brazil. So we're gonna reform a lot, or we would reform a lot, but we're gonna definitely stay with a monarcho system And I don't want to see some ungodly ideology like monarcho-communism, so no issue there. I really do want to hear this mental gymnastics, though. Don Pedro II was unironically one of the most base monarchs in history at any rate. Oh, fully agreed. He did very few things wrong. Agreed, man. I tend to be very anti-monarchy, but he's an exception. Because by the laws of gods and men, the firstborn son is the rightful heir, and Aegon is the firstborn son. You have left me speechless, Sodi. Denmark's monarch has been stable for quite a while. You mean in real life, or do you mean like at this present time period? Modern monarchs are basically cheerleaders and or like mascots. You know, like every sports team has the mascot who comes out and does like a bunch of dances and wears like flashy clothing. Monarchs are the same in the modern setting, except they're paid way better and have benefits. Like, their job is to just look flashy, come out once in a while, get the people going, and go back to drinking high value wine and boozing with rich people. Real life, yeah. I'll be honest, if we could literally breed monarchs like Dom Pedro II, I wouldn't mind ditching democracy for him. There is another option. Monarchs just like run for office like everyone else and win, you know. That's a hell of a lot better than whatever Chuckle fucking inherits the shitstorm every 4 years. Yeah, monarchs are a crapshoot though. There have been some very good monarchs in history like Dom Pedro, but they're the exception. Most monarchs tend to be either disinterested, mediocre, or outright dangerous and damaging to the country. It's very rare that you get one who's competent like Dom Pedro. I like that man a lot, but I'm just saying, you know. Allison was the only person in the entire court to play by the rules for years while everyone else did whatever they wanted, and somehow she's the villain. You mean the woman? Oh man, I don't even want to get into Allison. Playing by the rules. Like seducing your best friend's father in order to get political power? Like that, Sodi? Or like turning the capital in the country into like a borderline theocracy before Cersei Lannister made it cool? Or trading information for feet pics? Or putting your first son on the throne even though you know he's a fucking rapist? Like those things? By chance? Metropolis, where he had his imperial residence. Never visited, I should. That would be pretty cool. I've never heard of that. Let me look it up. Metropolis. Cool name. Ooh. Oh, that's really nice. That looks really chill. I need to visit Brazil one day, man. God damn. I really want to go to South America and travel around, but I'm a broke fucker. Yeah, Metropolis looks really beautiful. God damn. Yeah, definitely, man. If you can, definitely go check that out. That'd be really cool. She was a child. She did what she was told. But she stayed loyal to the king and took care of him for years. She did take care of him. I'll give him that. Or that. I'm all for bending the rules now after everyone else has. That thing is weird, though. Yeah, just a little bit. I haven't heard you justify why she would put Aegon on the throne after everything she knows about that little shit, though. I want to hear. Let's hear your logic for that one. No car being disabled makes traveling arrangements a bitch. That is brutal, man. That is brutal. What are we doing right now? See you around, Commander.
I will only murder you. Right, we're about to start.
I thought you were. I thought I misread it
Russian?
like you were gonna join it or something.
Are we all good, or
Russian
what's
history,
happening?
yeah.
We'll
yeah.
just get Austria back again now.
Sorry?
Oh god.
We'll just
Austria.
get Austria back.
I can hear you if
Crashed.
one person talks at the same time. What'd you say?
We're getting Austria back into the game.
Ah, okay, got you. Thank you.
He's joining now.
Because he's a rightful king, and back then kings did shit like that all the time. Look at Robert, he had loads of bastards. Yeah, but he didn't rape people, so he had that going for him. I think cheating on your wife is a very different thing than, like, actively raping a woman, you know? I could forgive infidelity. I can't forgive rape, you know? Just saying. You like Aemon over Aegon. Aemon's a little fucking sociopath, but he does have style, I'll give him that. But humor me real quick. What does Rio de Janeiro produce in Vicky 3? Like, naturally? Fishing wharfs, logging camps, rubber plantations, maize farms, coffee plantations, sugar plantations, banana plantations, tie plantations, livestock ranches, and tea plantations. Those are the things you can build there. It has no natural buffs to it either. It is our population hub, so it's basically a mega city already. I mean, look at that thing. Huge. Rio was the capital before they built Brasilia, right? Because Brasilia didn't even exist at this point. I can see it. That's like saying Stannis should have been king because he was in line to inherit. He was also batshit crazy and burned his daughter alive for power. So, I mean, call me crazy, but I don't think the rights of inheritance should be the primary dictation in who you support, especially in a time of monarchs. Yeah, post-war. Different question. Zodi, in the first series, of all the kings of like the War of Kings, who did you support? I'm curious when that was coming out. Look, if I'm looking at it from a 2022 POV, of course, I disagree with a lot of what I see. Women should have the right to rule in the whole nine, but if I'm looking at it from a medieval POV, I support the Greens. Even from a medieval POV, he's still a piece of shit. Even if you want to be sexist, even if you want to be all about, like, the power of gods to dictate things, he's still a piece of shit, man, even by those standards. The fact that he is still horrible in that time period to those people, if they knew who he was, that says something, you know? Saying. To this day, Rio doesn't produce anything, just lots of small farms and pastures all over the place as soon as you leave the city limits. That's fair. I mean, to be fair, it is more of like a... Correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't it have like a lot of, like, a little bit of tech stuff and then just like a lot of like, just general bureaucracy and just general stuff? It's more like a population hub than anything else, from what I've read. Marketplace of the world. We're not going back to free trade. I'm not going back, goddammit. You can't make me. I don't need that in my life. Cool. Groceries. Services bureaucracy. Yep. Sao Paulo is where all the manufacturing is. Oh, absolutely. That's reflected in this game, too, because they have access to coal mines, logging camps, iron mines, etc. And I believe, yeah, they have a river, which gives more infrastructure. I like protectionism. That's solid. I tend to do mercantilism personally, though. Sao Paulo is larger, I think. What's up, kidding? Some scattered industry around, but nothing really major. Mercantilism for tariffs. That's what I find is best, especially because I like to grow my economy rapidly by construction, so the extra tariffs allow me to maintain more construction buildings. There's a statue in Rio where they caught a fish this big. Is that a real thing? Statue of giant fish Rio. Oh my god. The Big Fishes is a huge sculpture that was made out of discard bottles. Is that the one you're talking about? That's actually kind of cool looking. God damn. That's fucking sick. Huh. Oh, Christ the Redeemer. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Right over my head. Right over my head. Nice. Sao Paulo is a lot bigger than Rio. 25 million versus 15. Game of Thrones was tricky because my favorite character was Jaime. My favorite house was Lannister, but Stannis was the rightful king. Jesus Christ, Zodi! Man. You're lucky we never had a Game of Thrones watch party together. I probably would have fucking had to fight you for that bullshit. I would like to visit Sao Paulo, to be honest. There's a lot of places in South America I'd like to visit, to be honest. Everywhere besides Snake Island, to be honest. Stannis is, in the book, is supposed to be better. Yeah, book Stannis was a little bit better. He was still a crazy fucking zealot, though. He was just more of a solid dude. Now, the actor who portrayed him in the show is fan-fucking-tastic. He did such a good job. But the way they wrote him in the show, I really didn't like. There were a lot of characters in the show compared to the books. I just didn't like how they portrayed them. For example, everything after George R. R. Martin's writing for Tyrion was a fucking train wreck. The way they killed such an amazing character. Goddamn, man. Just a dark, dirty, gray slate of slums and high-rises. He was fair. He was. Absolutely. We want to visit Chile. Man, me too. There's a really cool national park in Argentina, like right around here I want to visit too. It's called like the Valley of the Moon, I think. Valley of the Moon, Argentina. Yeah. Let me show this to you guys really quickly. This is where I really want to visit. It's called the Valley of the Moon. It's a national park, I think, in Argentina. It's really fucking sick. It looks like an alien landscape. Has some absolutely wild colors. You can go hiking all over there. It's just got some really, like, wild-looking stuff there. I would love to go hiking in there, man. Yeah, there it is. Right there. Plus, I mean, like, anything in the mountain ranges of, like, Patagonia. I mean, like, just Patagonia, period, man. Not the fucking rich people clothing brand, but I mean Patagonia, dude, like, fucking next level. I've been to the Himalayas, and I'd love to go back, but I really want to go to Patagonia more, to be honest. That shit is beautiful. There's a really cool trek you can do. It's called the Patagonian Way. I think it's called. Yeah. I always wanted to do this. It's not very well traveled, so it's a little bit sketchy. Let me see if I can find something on it. Let me see. Map. Yeah. There it is. You travel basically all along, like, the southern portion of the Patagonian mountain range. A lot of it, there's no trails and stuff, too, so you have to either, like, you have to get boats, you have to, like, rent stuff, you have to, like, figure out how to get there. It's not very popular, which is one of the reasons I love to do it. It takes, like, 3 months, though, and I don't think I'll ever save the money for it, but, man, it would be fucking cool to do. It's on, like, my bucket list that I probably won't do, but it's fine. It is beautiful, yeah. I like big cities. Lençois de Maranhão, if you want to see something to visit Brazil. Let me look it up. Ooh. Let me show that one too. That's fucking sick. Goddamn, man. That also looks like an alien planet, though. We do have some pretty amazing things on Earth that we just forget about or don't really pay attention to. Perfect place to get a bunch of Instagram pics if you're a basic white bitch. Goddamn. Yeah, that'd be cool to visit too, dude. Goddamn. They actually filmed Game of Thrones there, I think. That's cool. Hell yeah. Like Dorne maybe, or something like that. Clothing. We'll deal with the textiles deficit. We have a bit of a wood deficit too. Let's work on that. There we go. Our economy is still lagging behind. It's not where I'd like it to be. We're right behind Spain, though, which is solid. And Japan. Now, our quality of life is very high. Belgium's higher. We have a higher quality of life than Sweden. The only other major country out there, or the only two countries that have higher quality of life is Finland and Belgium right now. That's crazy. Brazil's a really good place to live right now. Jamie and Braun on horseback. Yeah, that makes sense. Probably the best place I've been in my country would be Lapland and northern Finland. Lapland. Oof, yeah, that is fucking pretty, man. Why all of this? Why is it all fucking Christmas shit, though? You know where I really would love to go? Again, if I ever had a fair degree of money to go travel again. Fucking Kyrgyzstan, man. Culturally, they're so fucking interesting. And their steppe mountains are just ridiculous, dude. Like, that shit is just insane. Fucking hell. Yep. Pretty fucking cool. It's better because we have mountains. We also have tiny ones. Tunturis? Oh, what's up, Kala? Good to see you, dude. Do you have any mountains in Finland at all? You've got hills, right? And then, of course, there's the place that I was supposed to go to and I never was able to. I had to go home early. I was going to go here. I was going to go hike for like a month, but I had to go home early. Fucking Kashmir. That place that India and Pakistan are always fighting over. It's really pretty there. And I mean really pretty. Fucking hell. I always loved mountains. I like the ocean, but mountains are always just... I don't know. They appeal to me more. It really is, Nico. Fucking incredible. Only states I've been to are Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, and Wisconsin. Where do you live, Tingle? I don't think I ever asked you. Or maybe you've told me and I've completely forgotten. Which is also very likely. The North was Scotland. Northumbria was the Riverlands. Yes. Yeah, it was based on Britain. You live in Seattle, right? Yeah, you had told me that. I remember now. Definitely worth getting out there. Dude, if you have the money to travel when you are younger and you are fit enough to do things you won't be able to do when you're old, definitely do it. I know that's not an easy thing to say because many people live paycheck to paycheck. I know I do. I did get lucky enough to come into some money that I got during like the crypto boom, and I traveled with that. But if you ever do have money and the ability to get some time off to go do some shit, man, definitely do it. Again, I know not everyone can, but if you are able to. This is a sick playthrough, by the way. Hell yeah, man. I'm very unhappy with our growth not being higher. I am still blown away by how high the standard of living is. Mainly for rich people, but still. Our lowest strata is still impoverished, but if we get out more textile mills, that will help a fair bit. I'm the man with the get a passport and use it rant. Yeah, fair. You have traveled a lot. Well, I just remembered who I'm talking to. You said states. I thought you meant general places you've traveled. You've traveled extensively. We've talked about this. Never mind. I don't need to lecture you about doing that at all. I just connected the dots. Could be 20, I think, if you had stuff for people. Yeah, it could be a lot higher. More basic goods are needed. Textiles, furniture, and then more fabric. Probably coal, too. Yeah, coal deficit's hurting us, too. And glass. We probably need those more than wood right now, to be honest. Let me change this up a little bit. We'll do that. We'll do that. Don't go to Canada. Go someplace safe but extremely different. Don't go to North Korea like a moron. Don't go to a warlord country. Go to Thailand. Go to Australia. Go to Central and Western Europe. See the world before your body slows down. Yeah, true. I've been talking about going traveling with my aunt for like the last couple of years that we've lived together, and she really wants us to go soon because she's worried about that. She's not really old. She's in her 60s, and she's worried that if we don't travel too soon together, that she won't have the time or the physical ability to do a lot of things that she wants to do when we go travel, which is fair. I'm just broke all the time, and I'm just really pushed back against the concept of basically just going and just grinding a fucking minimum wage job enough to save enough to travel, because that shit, I've done it before. It's just brutal, man. Research dynamite, coal will be solved. True. We're doing it right now. We just have a long ways to go. 24 months. You can press Alt to make the construction queue faster on the things you want sooner. Oh, yeah. Like, you mean Alt click, right? Yeah. Thank you, Nico. I do want to get the textiles done first. High clothing prices is never a good thing. We are running into market access issues again. Those will need to happen sooner rather than later. We can do some more construction. Our interest is super low now, so we will go ahead and do that. Is Finland playable in this game by any chance? Yes, it is, but you start as, I believe, a puppet of Russia. They are playable. They're pretty strong, too, if you know what you're doing. They have a fair amount of solid natural resources. Ask Limpari, I'm sure he's already played them a fair bit. Hey, Hamu, did you know cargo ports give 20 infrastructure? I did know that. They're very useful. I've already got them maxed out. Industrial ports are even better for infrastructure, but we need to research steamships to do that, which is not easy. I played Japan only. That's fair. Japan I actually haven't played yet. I've been meaning to. I just haven't gotten around to it. They are very strong if you play them right. I know that. I watched another streamer play them a little bit. Watching other streamers play Vicky 3 right now is very enjoyable to me, because I see them doing things I fucked up on a week ago, and I'm like, haha, I know what I'm doing, kind of, a little bit. Doesn't Japan have some bustedly good agriculture? Yes, and I think manufacturing too. Jesus Christ, this group chat I'm in is ridiculous. I want to find one nation I can play from CK3 to Hoi 4. I'm thinking Burma. Nobody ever plays them. That does sound interesting. Kyoto produces more food than China. I did some analysis on ports. They are definitely not bad because they give a little bit of infrastructure as well as the convoys. But railways, if you're a modernized nation, gives so much more infrastructure as well as transportation on the marketplace. Yep, true. Meanwhile, making lots of ports can eat up population, supporting them compared to half the pop there's need for rail infrastructure. Really? I didn't know that, Tingle. That is interesting. Well. I'm sold. Plus, it helps you develop more of a bigger industrial base around high-value jobs like steel, so. Alright, I'm sold. Railways it is. Just because Japan's army is ass unless you get a lot of guns. I mean, yeah, because they're so far behind technologically in the beginning. And then not as much as other Asian countries, but it still is quite significant. Be careful not to kill our budget with construction. The Empire fell a while before this. You can get a functional army in no time. Yeah, reforms are really not hard to pass in this game. They really aren't. They should be harder. I mean, they're harder than, like, EU4, like, good God, something like Hoi 4, which is just a button click and waiting. But, like, they still need to be a little bit more difficult, in my opinion. How about Ethiopia? They lasted until the 30s. Yeah. Abyssinia lasted a while. Past that, wasn't it? Haile Selassie didn't get ousted until, wasn't it the... No, World War II. So, probably the World War II. Yep. And this game number is bad, only go for quality. It is a Paradox game, to be fair, so that does check out. Para and Sara. Saying that wrong. Let's try that. We have a lot of goods coming out of Lima, actually, so it's important that we do that. We really need more governmental administration as well. Still working on interventionism. Oh man, it's a slow grind to get some of these. I'm back. I can't get the game today, sadly. No worries, man. Haile Selassie lasted until the mid-70s before a military coup killed him. That's what I thought. That's when the communists took power, right? Wasn't it? Or was it the military and then the communists? It was the communists. Final answer. If you're outnumbered, fight in low infrastructure so the battles are small. Yes, there is combat within this game. Many people don't realize that yet. Well, now I know the basics of scripting for Unity. Good, better. Programming's such a useful skill to have, man. Good on you for learning that shit. I've been telling myself I'm going to learn how to code for the last 10 years, and I never have. It's a problem. The future is also tech-based. Like, even as, like, a regular consumer of products on the internet, it does benefit you to know a good amount of coding. Visible end to the Ptolemaic dynasty. Yeah, they weren't bad folks for the most part, so that wasn't sad. The African tribe my ancestors are from have finally made its way into a Paradox game. Which one, Zodi? Which one, man? I'm curious. The Fulbe. Fulbe. There's not a search bar in this game, so where is it at? Sokoto. Oh yeah. The culture of the Fulbe. I know that. They're one of their major population groups. Yep, they're there. That's cool, man. Hell yeah. Nigerian ancestry, then. Another sleeping giant in the modern world. Nigeria, if it deals with its corruption issues, solves its religious crisis, and industrializes with not basic industry, will be a major power. Furiyalon. That's over here somewhere, right? Yeah, they're there. Furiyalon. Oh yeah, man. Dedicate like 30 minutes to an hour of your day to one lesson per day. Use edx.org or Code Academy. I tried Code Academy. A lot of them charge you money, though. Is edx.org free? Let me check it out. Register for free. Are the courses free, though, Bitter? They charge you money for quizzes and certifications. I don't need either. I just need to learn. I have no interest in having, like, fucking certificates. Just, like, an understanding of how to do it. Luxemburger ancestry, which is just fancy separatist Dutch. Yeah? You're not wrong. I mean, Belgians are also separatist Dutch. They were the Catholic ones, right? It was the Belgians who were the Catholics. Oh, boy. Yeah. Our fucking Congress killed it. God damn. Alright. We are still reformist. We'll go for public health insurance. At least we'll try for it. Getting health institutions is really useful in this game because it allows your birth rate to go way the fuck up. My ancestors are from France, Germany, and Italy. All I know is that the Luxembourg doesn't even exist in Vicky. Yeah, there's no culture for them. Wallonian and North German. It's good sometimes. I really don't like it, personally. Mainly out of spite for it as an economic policy, but, you know. I want to play Belgium and colonize the Congo. I gotta learn more. And no, you don't, Zodi. Oh, God. Dog. Don't even say that. No. No. Free State of the Congo, man. Literally run by demons. Have you banned teleport units in multiplayer? I don't know what that is, Lampari, so I can't tell you. Thank you for following Nico. We haven't had any issues with players. Most of our players don't do shit like that, but I'm not too sure. It's like playing Germany and Hoi 4. It's just the game all. Yeah. I guess I'd put like colonizing Belgium up there with like playing the TNO mod, which I personally can't stomach myself. I just can't stomach even playing it, man. Even in the game. He wants to play as China and conquer all of Asia. Well, first you have to reform them. Can you discover ethnic cleansing and genocide in Vicky 3? Yeah, it's called nationalism. It is a technology. Yeah, you get nationalism and then you get pan-nationalism. So they're not the same, but they're pretty closely related. And then you do get where is it? Chemical warfare. Paradox used to have a very strict code that they wouldn't put things relating to war crimes into their games, but apparently not anymore. Tino is a Nazi wet dream and being willingly uninformed about World War II production. Yeah, I don't like it. Removing the French sounds like a worthy playthrough. They did some horrific shit, no doubt, but I mean, it's 1837. It's really nation not doing fucked up shit long. Yeah, man, I just read too much about the Free State of the Congo to ever try something like that. It would just make my skin crawl. Even, man. Okay, glass, which will increase probability of life. Glass is actually needed at a very low rate. Basically, all your pops have like a scale of 1 to 100, basically for how high their standard of living is. Even at a very low standard of living, you actually do need glass, which I didn't realize until recently. So this one's really important. We do need more lead too. You always need glass, true. Chemical warfare, not a war crime, not more put it in a game. Definitely more of a war crime than shotguns were. Well, Hamu, if you ever decide to learn some coding, feel free to DM on Discord. I can link you some things that my school sent you. Yeah, for sure, dude. Maybe this time I'll actually start it and actually do it. You never know. You'll need more glass than you when you go for steel frame constructions. Yeah, the amount of glass you need for construction when you get to that is ridiculous. It's crazy. In my alt universe, Belgium would get the colony, not one lunatic. Fair. Fair. It was primarily the leader. Colonialism is innately evil, but Leopold was pretty close to the devil. Should such an entity exist. Fortunately, you can make porcelain while making glass. True. You just need dyes, which is normally cheap, but you can easily conquer for it. Yeah, just anything here, really. Anything there. What's our economy like now? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Aha, we're 10th. We're right behind Japan! Coming for that ass, boy! That Hawaiian player. Oh my god. 1961, did Italy unite? They did not. It's 2 Sicily, Sardinia, Piedmont still. No Italy this game, it looks like. I like Victory 3 to last until the 2030s. Dude, don't get me started. I want someone to make a modern day Vicky 3 mod so bad. I even considering trying to start it in our Discord, but I don't have the skills for it, and we can barely get the staff to run games, let alone something like that, so I'll just have to be patient and hope someone fucking makes it. We need a lot more lead now. Can we actually change our... Yes, give us engine pumps. Yeah, there we go. We just need one more now. I think I'm already making it, though. Yes, I am. And dyes, which I think we can produce, yes. Nuka City, build a glass mine. Oh boy. We're gonna need more steel and more engines to deal with all these new railways too. Man, 3-speed. 3-speed is a little painful at times. We need to lower our taxes, but that'll fuck us. That'll help get things passed quicker, too. I like that they added in the $150 million debt Hawaii owes France in this game. Did they really? That's cool. As an obligation, or how did they do that? Germany is, I think Germany is copying the Belgian flag. I don't know. A lot of the European flags are very similar. They're just like 3 colors displayed at different angles. Maybe with like a crest on it. Fabio Cabral da Silva, the leader of the industrialists, has brought up in today's debate concerns of healthcare potentially becoming more accessible, but less available for those who already have it. No one has healthcare! What are you talking about? Fuck them. That's like those dudes who monologue in the U.S. Congress that having public single-payer healthcare will make it more expensive for everyone else when they have literally nothing to back that up with. Fucking Christ. Ah, modern-day Germany. Yeah. They were pretty similar. Well, like I said, they're not the only one in Europe with that particular eccentricity. Our GDP per capita is the 6th highest in the world right now. Well, our goal for this game was to make a philosopher, emperor, reformist, like, you know, modern Brazil. And given our political reforms and our dramatically high quality of life, I'd say we've done a pretty good job of that, to be honest. All things considered. Belgium is what Germany would look like bent over. There's a joke there. I completely missed it. There's something cursed in my USA playthrough. I got public health care. Good. The way I see it, the average employee in the USA doesn't have health care. Congress shouldn't either. They are elected officials, not any employee. Agreed. They're all rich enough they would just get private health care anyway, though. I really love how Vicky 3 models private health care, though. That shit is so accurate and cool. If you have private schools, if you have private health care, it only gives mortality a reduction for the wealthy classes, which is exactly what it is. I mean, that's modern day US. Like, the mortality for being injured or being sick for the rich is like very low, but if you're poor, it's very high, which fucking based way of showing it. Last time I played Vicky 2 was years ago, and I did something incredibly cursed. There's a decision to stop paying them, though. I'd love to RP asking America to join me in peace talks with France for them to forgive the debt. Never back a nation of free slaves, but I tried to appeal to America willing to keep Western powers out of America, so it's better for Haiti to just keep their independence. Makes sense. The RP session we had yesterday was pretty good. I think most of us, including myself, understand the game well enough. I don't have to spend my whole time doing the economy if it's a proper roleplay game. Like I said, this one's casual because we dropped most of our players and stuff, so it's going to be more relaxed, but I don't expect every game like this to happen, so we'll see. On that note, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. I intervened in the U.S. Civil War, made the Confederacy win. How fucking dare you? Then I declared carpet siege to the U.S. never accepted peace. Spent the last 40 years of the game cycling the siege by 5 different uprisings at all times. This just sounds painful, man. Sounds just painful to play. We're getting a lot of desyncs today, it looks like. Or crashes, either one. It was a Paradox patch, to be fair, and they do tend to be like that. I think we're waiting for Dire Duck to come back. Ooh. I enjoyed DC getting sieged by communists and next month by socialists and next month by anti-slavery rebels. Vicky 2 radical system was so fucking crazy, man. My last grand campaign I did. Oh man, that was over a year ago. That was the Poland-Lithuania game. I had a monarchy with the same dynasty all the way up until Vicky 2. And I lost the monarchy because late game Vicky 2, I just could not deal with the amount of fucking rebels I had. So I had a massive communist uprising I couldn't beat. They killed my armies, they overthrew the government. In the roleplay of like the grand campaign, I said that they killed the royal family. So there was a communist government, and then like 10 years later there was another counter-revolution by the really far-right fascist nationalists, and they overthrew the communist government. And so I went into Hoi 4 as like fucking fascist, fascist Commonwealth. And I remember just being like, Jesus Christ, man, I can't do anything about this. This is just like the game's running things at this point. I also wasn't very good at Vicky 2, to be fair, but shit, man. Cool. We are back. Shame there isn't an option to just break up nations. I mean, there is. If you start a war to release countries, he's just going to keep desyncing. Yep. Do you use this?
Yeah, we're reopening. You
Yep.
have to.
Sounds good.
France, cringe, that's why.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
I'm loving this, I gotta say.
What's even going on in Europe? I'm just like so
Dude,
isolationist.
don't even, Ham. You haven't been here. You haven't been in hell.
Brazil's just developing their economy and getting rich, and we're the best place to live in the world.
Russia and France are bullying the rest of Europe. That's what's going on.
That's not
They
true.
fucked over my nation, Ham. They opened me up. I got a
Were
good
you the one who
fucking
kept saying
tributary.
someone open up my economy for
Yes,
the full
he
Prios? There wasn't.
Yeah,
Didn't you like?
fucking peacefully.
You never said
Yeah.
that. You just said open up my economy.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
opened
so-
that door, we went in.
I was playing for the U.S. over my economy, not the fucking Russian.
Yeah, the French, me and the French.
I wanted
opened up.
someone to open my economy, but not the fucking Russians.
Yeah,
That's valid. That's a valid reason to not want that.
look at them.
Peacekeeping forces and definitely didn't
Yeah,
push
yeah,
into
yeah,
the
we-
land.
Yeah,
You're
we
the
said-
only person that pushed into the land, and you had better troops than Russia.
Didn't.
No, man, we
Yes,
we
you
sent in
did.
we sent in a League of Nations task force to sort it out.
Set in the blue helmets.
No.
Yeah, Hawaiian.
Yeah, we sent the we sent in the
Also,
Friends on
Hawaii, I see you over there being one of the few nations
the
with a higher
French blue
quality
shirts.
of life. Go fuck yourself.
Well, no, he fucking leached off of me, and then he started leeching off of France when he wasn't getting his
He's
way.
no longer
Yeah,
in your
yeah.
market.
Yeah, no, he fucking Russia backed him in going independent.
Okay, I was
I
saying
did
money
back
to
him.
you.
I
Shut
said I
up.
would back him and he bitched
You
out.
were leeching from me, man. What do you mean?
What do you mean I was gonna pay you?
Jeez, calm down.
Oh
You
my
leached me
god.
700, man. That's a lot
This
for a
crack
Hawaiian.
it.
No,
Oh my
it
God.
sounds like we should teach the power.
I just want to say I'm very
Yeah.
glad I stayed out of European politics.
Yeah,
But
no,
we-
that's
we'll get you
honestly,
an
I
old
should.
I
should've
want
done the
5
fucking
people
same.
from
I'm-
Japan.
I'm-
We should get. We should...
Fucking take it. Fucking come for it, bitch. I'll cut off his cock and ball.
Well, this is definitely a casual game today. Oh boy.
What's
It's
the ID?
It's a good game. It's a good
Oh,
game.
I'm enjoying it, but yeah.
There has been RP, but different.
Cam,
nature.
there's been nobody to counter the Russians and French, so the Russians and French have just been
Are these
running
are these
the
in a
entire
hug box
game.
together?
Yeah,
No,
they've
no, no,
outboxed
no, no,
Germany and me.
No, I tell you what, Germany keep threatening us both with war. So we're out. So we're allied
No.
together.
Threatening us.
He has been threatening us this whole game with war. I'm gonna Russia, give me Poland. France, give me
You've
out.
been threatening me every fucking 2
So
seconds.
just accurate Germany roleplay. That's all I'm hearing. Just keep demanding things from your neighbors until they break or you start a war you can't win.
French roleplay would be to give in and give up.
The
Yeah,
historical
exactly.
alliance.
Surrender to me.
No.
The historical
What do you
alliance,
know?
man.
I
You,
said
you're
no.
not meant. You're not meant to say no. You're meant to say
I
yes.
meant to say no.
France,
No,
like
Germany.
Germany did nothing but antagonize everyone around him.
I'm not
I mean,
the
I did
monarch
fix my nation.
anymore.
I mean, that's kind of what you have also done.
No, well, Austria and France are my allies, and Hawaii is my friend. So
They're only allies with you, I'm pretty sure, because you're the biggest.
I'm not. France is a bigger economy. I'm stronger than I am. France.
Yeah, but you're big.
Honestly,
I'm
their military isn't that impressive either.
Yeah.
I'm not a particularly impressive nation. I don't want you.
You're
I
Germany
just-
is still better.
The fact that I, as Brazil, am very close to overtaking the Northern German Federation's economy is kind of fucking mind-blowing.
Wait, what?
Nah, it's because my
He
AI,
hasn't been
Wait,
playing-
actually-
he hasn't been playing them the whole game.
AI
What's your
ruined it.
GDP?
My GDP is like 37.
No, not you. Oh, GP that matters.
Yeah. Hawaiian.
Why? Dude, okay.
My GDP
Can I
is
just
Hawaiian.
Guys, I don't even want to
Million,
take anything from
700.
Hawaii.
This is why I put casual roleplay in the title of this stream. Just a heads up. I knew exactly what today was going to be. That's fine. I want to keep going with this Brazil game. See if I can fix it, but still. Yeah, until probably Saturday. I'll do a Saturday stream. It's gonna be on YouTube though, and it won't be super long. It'll be like 3 or 4 hours. The next Twitch stream is gonna be on Sunday, and that's gonna be 2 games actually. I'm gonna be streaming the Ambadar continuation from the Ambadar EU4 roleplay game, and then I will be joining that Sunday Vicky 3 game. I didn't make the first session, so I don't know who I'm gonna end up playing, but we're gonna play someone. It's gonna be a mystery Vicky 3 roleplay nation on Sunday, and that's a really big and very good game so far. So I'm very sad I didn't make that Sunday. I know what the fuck I got, man. That shit hit me so hard. I don't know if it was like it was some sort of flu virus, I think. I don't remember ever having a virus that just like hit me so fucking quickly though. Yeah, so it should be good. The roleplay statement and the role players in that game are really solid. Weekend games always tend to be higher quality because there's a lot more people who can play who have jobs and things like that. As a generalization, weekdays tend to attract a lot more kids who have kind of time, whereas weekend you get a lot more serious folks. Not always, but there's a correlation there. I'm so glad we went isolationist, though. Europe is just sounding like a fucking absolute powder keg train wreck. Russia is very strong in this game. Jesus Christ. And that fucking super wealthy Hawaiian player. You can see where he left the Japanese economy. Who can tell me where Hawaii left the Japanese fucking customs union? Does anyone see it by chance? Does anyone see where they left the Japanese customs union? I wonder. Fuck. Yeah, no kidding. A little bit of a crash landing and jump back up, I guess. He went right back up because that's when he joined the French Customs Union, so. Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. Alright, we're back. We need silk. Let's trade for it. I hate this feature so much, but we gotta use it. In order to get silk, we have to declare an interest in Indochina for some fucking reason. Now, declared interest is one of the biggest features in Vicky 3 I really don't like. Not by nature, but by implementation. Can you make your own unit that controls all the rubber in the world and keeps the other players out? Theoretically, yes. If you got all the countries that are able to produce rubber in their states into a single customs union, everyone would have to trade for you for it. Same with oil, theoretically. You know, I've been reading a lot of the Vicky 3 subreddit lately because it's so fucking funny. I just find it to be hilarious, some of the things I've seen on there. My favorite post I've seen, and I think someone posted a meme about it this morning. I saw it when I was browsing Reddit in bed before I got up. Great way to spend a morning. And it's basically people are complaining about real world issues. Like, I remember seeing like a post when this game first came out about like, oh, the Paradox needs to fix this. There's not enough oil. I always have not enough oil in the late game. It's like, yeah, that's how that works. Why do you think the fucking Americans invaded Iraq? Because there wasn't enough oil. And like rubber too and stuff like that. It's so funny. The other one that was pretty funny was, I think someone in my Discord, or in the Discord, was complaining about, what was it? They had welfare, they had put in place welfare systems, and people weren't working and just living off of welfare and being on subsistence farming, and he was angry about it. And I think the reason was because basically his jobs weren't paying enough. So like the wages for his jobs were so low that people literally made more money and had a higher quality of life by just living off of welfare payments, which are basically the basics you need to live. Which is hilarious, because that's also a real world thing. People will complain about welfare payments because like, oh, people don't want to work. They just want to live off of welfare. No, people can't justify working a 50-hour work week where you get abused by a boss mentally for only a couple dollars more than welfare just to be able to afford rent and food. That's also a real world thing, which I find so funny. Like the amount of like, I don't know, the amount of complaints I've seen from people in regards to Vicky 3, which are really just real world issues. It's just so funny, man. Which is why one of the many reasons I think this game's so funny and cool. You see some of those things actually portrayed in it. You thread the global oil supply, the entire planet is going to pile on you quicker than you can blink. Absolutely. Especially in the late game. You'll get total war for that. Anyway, I've been very entertained by those things. Definitely been very entertaining. Oh boy, I think we're still having crashes or desyncs. Alright, we'll deal with the dye issue. More luxury clothing too. Sugar and coffee. silk, which we should be able to trade for now. Yep. Ah, cheap Vietnamese silk. Hey, I just noticed you have a link. Is this real? Oh, an OnlyFans link. Go ahead and click it. Just click it really quickly. Do me a favor and click it, and then that'll answer the question. Okay, 62 more engines, and we need a lot of tools. Jesus Christ, we need a lot of tools. Are we doing steel tool production? Yes. So we need more steel. That's the big issue right now. And then more glass, as always. No, it's a Rickroll, Fury. It's a Rickroll. If you click on the OnlyFans link linked in my bio, it just goes to a Rickroll. I'll be honest, I completely stole that from Creamy Lou. Because I did that. I saw that. I was like, what the fuck? And I clicked on it, and he got me. So, yeah. Yeah, it's a Rickroll. Economic warfare idea. Monopolize some random industry everyone relies on, then cut off the supply during a great war. True. True. Become like the global arms exporter and munitions exporter, and then just like cut it all off. Embargo everyone in wars. You could basically become like the League of Nations if you did that, right? Yeah. I thought it was funny, so I just did it too. Very highbrow humor, you know. Jesus Christ, this is such an unstable game. They didn't put anything out about multiplayer bug fixing in the recent patch, which I'm not surprised. It'll take them a while, I'm sure. Jesus, that quality of life increase. Our upper class is so affluent. Look at that. 30.6 standard of living. More alcohol and more luxury clothing. Bump that number up. Monopolize splinterless toilet paper, cut off supply during a Great Depression, watch everyone descend into a revolution spiral. That's true. Am I going to unify South America? Probably not. This is an economic reformation game, kind of. We're getting closer. We might actually get healthcare before the end of the game. Which will put us in another bureaucratic crisis. What the fuck? Ah, I see. Egypt protected an African country and they're getting destroyed by the British. Jesus, man. Part of the issue is we launched this game before the patch, so I'm sure it'll be pretty unstable. Mein Gott. So much pausing. I'm about ready to call it, I'm gonna be honest.
Why
Try.
not?
don't you get a treaty?
Is it
for
still
China?
going? Are we
Because
still having
Hawaii
issues?
treaty
After, have
port-
you relaunched the game?
Just imagine like Shanghai
Oh,
and Hawaii, like that would be big.
Do we
Yeah,
do we
yeah,
have
so
do we have
we're
another rehost or another desync?
No, no. We have.
Yeah,
Well,
it says
it
crash.
needs to be
a
migration
crash,
event.
not a
Yeah,
decent.
it needs to be
Yeah.
migration.
The
What
pops
the
are
heck?
starting people to crash.
I
There's
think-
just so
I think-
much movement.
Yeah, the other issue I think is that like we launched this game before the patch, and I know it changed a lot of stuff. So
No, I don't
That's
think
a good
that.
point. Yeah.
there's a lot of
Yeah,
issues in
game-
Paradox games. If you start a multiplayer game and they put out a big patch, it's very often you'll have more desyncing issues.
Right. It's the same issue with Money I'm Done. That's why
Yep.
we
Well,
stopped.
This game's been more stable than the last time. So
The one
Yeah.
yesterday we only rehosted I think like once.
That was before the patch too.
That's true.
Austria is no.
Public health insurance, we actually got it. Cool. Should tell you how much bureaucracy this is. From the HRA in Hawaii. Nice, man. Liberal Party won again. Let's try and get a. Does healthcare not cost us bureaucracy? Well, we'll see when we pass it. 80 weeks. Normally does. That's very strange. We did a lot more coal because coal will allow us to do water boilers and press donkeys, which will reduce the amount of laborers that we need in certain jobs because we are running out of population we can actually use for things. Every single one of these costs a bit of coal, but it reduces your laborers by a significant amount, so it's much more efficient. Not much more. It makes you more population efficient. Like, what I've noticed is that, where is it called? Steam donkeys and water boilers and the things that they give you, they're really only important if you're going to lack population. If you're like Russia, the USA, India, you never need them. But if you're a country like Belgium or, you know, Nicaragua, or even like a country like Brazil, you will probably need them at some point. Tools. We have enough convoys. I think. Yeah, we do. I never understand why it says trade routes need convoys. Oh, in order to grow. So we could be doing more if we had more convoys. I get it. I already have so many. And we won't be able to get industrial ports before this game ends too, so... Let's, we'll do that. Ports are innately... He desynced again, didn't he? Yep. He's got a file issue, is what he's got. He's got to go verify his cache instead of just constantly joining. Yeah, they are innately subsidized by the government, so we're subsidizing the rail industry too. Forgot about that. That's where all our money's going. Not really, only 13,000. Could be worse. Yo, so hold on. Let me speak really quickly. That Austria player has a file issue. He needs to go and verify his files in Steam. Is what he has to do right now.
Well, I verified that. Yeah, I can do that.
I'm gonna reboot the whole game in case an issue with me, but I doubt it. But
Are we rehosting again?
Yeah, we're rehosting
Yeah.
because
All right.
Austria and Germany crashed.
I am gonna call this personally.
Mhm.
So
Oh, well, I'm
Same.
I get that you got to keep doing this. I know I'm ready to call it. The constant desyncs are kind of making it pretty hard to enjoy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Are we all
It
giving
was
up?
fun while it lasted, but
I think
it's
so.
a good time to end.
yep. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put out a reservation list for next Wednesday. I'll do some promoting on like Reddit and stuff like that. Hopefully we get a bigger crowd next time around. And
The thing is, we didn't have a channel for this game.
we did it because
There's
this
no
originally
channel.
this was supposed to be a pre-host that we do to like attract more Vicky players so we actually could fill games, but pre-hosting
Oh,
doesn't
right.
Yeah.
work with Vicky. So we're just gonna make it like a regular game. I assume you're up for that, right, Duck?
Yeah, fine.
Cool. All right. I'm gonna go to my stream. I'll jump back in and chat a little bit. All right, guys. So we're gonna end here. This game ended with no bang at all. So, all right, we're gonna call this. Like I said, I will be streaming on YouTube on Saturday. I think around 10 a.m. EST. It'll be the Grand Columbia achievement. Grander Columbia. I still want to try and do that. Sunday, Ambanar, and then a Vicky 3 game, and then I'll be starting a new game next Wednesday for this. And the next Tuesday, I'm going to continue that USA game. So, thank you all for watching, and I will see you later.